Okay, so hello everyone. My name's Tasha, and I'm really excited to be talking to you about creating modules for filling information gaps among American Indian and Alaska Native, or AIAN communities, something I've been working on with Professor Clarita Left-Hand Begay, who identified the need for these accessible introductory materials during the course of her work with tribal communities here in Washington State. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. I encourage you to look into Real Rent Duwamish or other ways you can support their community, especially if you're a Seattle resident. So today I'm going to talk about what exactly modules are, why they're important, what they actually consist of and the topics they currently cover, and where we're looking to move forward. These modules are short PowerPoint presentations, about 10 to 15 slides with accompanying notes that can be used by a tribal leader or community member to present to their community about a topic they require information about. They address information gaps or areas where the audience has very little prior knowledge, so it's important that they are introductory. The point isn't to do a deep dive into the given topic, but to introduce the main issues and questions. The goal is to establish a level of understanding that allows a community to find more information, to ask specific questions, and to communicate with their potential partners. In order to keep our modules easily digestible, we time them to about 15 to 20 minutes. We leave deliberate spaces for the presenter to add local examples and context from their community and include resources for further information so that communities know where they can go to take their next steps. So why are these kinds of modules necessary? Some tribal leaders and communities may not have access to the information they need to make informed decisions. There are many factors at work here, including unreliable internet access, paywalls and academic jargon, limited resources, and much more. At the same time, the pressure is on tribes to respond to pressing issues like climate change, water security, global pandemics, data sovereignty, and more. We're creating these modules to put information in the hands of tribal communities to support them in creating policies to respond to those pressures. Modules on climate change are already freely available on Clarita's website in the form of downloadable PowerPoint presentations. This means you don't need sustained internet access to use them, only to download them. And we try making them very accessible in terms of language as well. My current work is on modules that cover digital repatriation and collections, metadata, and strategies for protecting culturally sensitive information online. I've been very lucky to have so much of Clarita's expertise and support, and I'm also collaborating with Janine Ledford, the Executive Director of the Makah Cultural and Research Center, who's been generous enough to lend her time and expertise to the project. These topics are important to cover because more and more institutions are providing online access to their collections. This includes materials by and about Native communities, which have often ended up in those non-Native institutions through unethical practices rooted in colonialism. Tribal communities can both potentially benefit from increased access to their materials and potentially be exposed to harms when those materials that aren't appropriate for public viewing are exposed to wide, uncontrolled audiences online. In these modules, I try to introduce the basic ideas, the best practices and protocols that already exist, and strategies that AIAN communities can use to take advantage of the benefits and navigate the risks that come with managing digital collections. I've been extraordinarily privileged to learn about all these things in the university from some of the most qualified experts, and where I've had access to just about every book or article I could possibly think of. Most people and many tribal communities simply don't have that kind of access. My hope is that by creating these modules on managing digital collections, I can provide a tool for tribal communities to use in making their own decisions, drafting their own policies and protocols, and creating and displaying digital collections on their own terms. We're currently receiving feedback on the digital repatriation and collections modules, and the next two are being drafted. Clarita and I are also looking forward to this spring's LIS 598 class, where one of the major assignments is going to be to create modules on topics related to tribal sovereignty and protocols. When completed, these modules will be made available on Professor Left-Hand Begay's website. We're also developing a guidebook for creating modules so we can provide some guidance for others who wish to contribute. And I hope that this talk has inspired a few of you to consider doing so, maybe. This work's a great opportunity for students of any discipline to practice communication, especially with folks who might not speak academic jargon, but still need the information. To my thinking, it's not just good practice, it's also a responsibility. The University of Washington is a massive center for the production of knowledge, sitting here on traditional Duwamish land. With all these resources, we have the opportunity to think about new ways of doing things and building really strong, respectful, reciprocal relationships with communities we serve, including AIAN communities. So thank you for your time, and thank you to everyone who made this event possible. If you have any questions we can't get to today, or you're interested in getting involved, my email is up there, and so is the module's website. Thank you again.